Welcome back YouTube, once again, VulturusMidnite here, and today will be the starting video of the Perk-a-Cola Emblems in Black Ops 3. Now, this video will be for Perk Beta. Pretty much, the Perk Beta is pretty much the middle line between the copied parts of each emblem before the alterations to make it into an individual emblem. For example, this is the halfway point between Quick Revive, PhD Flopper, Juggernog, and such. These layers will all be copied over. The only thing different will be changing colors, and the letter O on the top and the bottom, they will be, multiplied, changed, so on and so forth, so you can actually have the Perk-a-Cola names and such. So also this can be, if any of you want to see this emblem, ever make your own emblems before I actually make the video, or try and attempt it, or try and make your own emblem, try and make your own logo inspired by Perk-a-Cola emblems and such, you could do it now. You can also change and alter anything you want from this beta. It's pretty good. Let's say if you have an X or Y axis at 0, sometimes you can be slightly off, and now when you're making multiple Perk-a-Cola emblems, it's gonna actually, you can physically see it when you switch between the two. So I want you guys to have the right proportions when doing it, so this will be copied and pasted and altered for each and every Perk-a-Cola emblem that you make or see on my channel and such. Also, it's an easier and faster way to make all the emblems. For example, this is roughly about 29 layers, 27 if you take away the text. We only have 64 possible layers, and you might only add like 30 to 35 layers on top of this, with the already 29 layers that you've had before copied over several times. All you have to do is just change the color. It's pretty damn simple. Anyways, let's get right into on how the emblem is actually created. Now, what I will have is a text document linked in the description down below, so you can open up on a computer and search, or any HTML viewer, and you can see the actual layer like the number, the layer actual text, so you can just search through the layer, like the different types you can use as your layers. For example, round, square, circles, all that good stuff. And it tells you the X, Y positioning, scale, rotation, opacity, toggle, and color. So if any of you want to have that as any information, it will be down in the description down below as the link to, get that HTML viewed. Alright, now let's see how we can actually make this emblem. The reason why you can see a little bit of a lighting behind at the moment is because if you put the opacity to 0, it will completely wipe gradients and such. So I'm having the opacity on 1 to not ruin that. Okay, so the first layer we'll use the round, square emblem tool, the decal, right? You could also use a square full, it doesn't matter. However, with the positioning 47, 47, you want to fill the whole page, and you want it, at the moment I have a dark red color. This dark red color is just the top of the red color chart of the basic colors. You can go into high definition coloring mixes by pressing the actual main button on the PS4. Don't know what it's like on the Xbox One. But yeah, it's 51 red, 0 green, 0 blue, and everything will be on the text document, so you will all be able to recheck it now and again. Alright, now we have the splashes behind the Perk-a-Colas. So what you want is them to be in the exact middle, and all of them are 15 by 15 scale. However, the rotations are different. For example, 0, just a basic 0 rotation, and then 114, and then 277. Now these opacities are not going to be 100, they're going to be kept at 50, as they will also change a little bit in color to the background. For example, if it's blue, if it's red, if it's purple, and such. So now we got the little splashes in the background, right? Now with the bubbles, what you want to do here is, sometimes if it's a bright emblem, you might want to have it a little bit brighter to 30. If it's a dark emblem, you might want to turn it down to 10. But because this is basic, I'm going to be turning it up to 20. Whoops, made a mistake by not taking off. And then just getting all the bubbles up to 20, as they're pretty much similar. Alright, now on the left hand side it's minus 116, and on the right hand side it is 116, positive number, with 17 in y-axis. No change of scale, but for rotation is 270. Now when you get the colour, now when you do it, you just copy from the previous layer and you paste it. It would be a solid and it would look a little bit like this. You press square on PlayStation to toggle the outline /full, and you get this little effect, as if there's a colour around the bubble. And it looks pretty nice. Now for this layer, what we want to do is get our opacity up to 50 opacity. And now it has this dark to red kind of colour tone. Now because all these 5 are gradients, let's get into the colours. So for example, this one is white, but then this colour will also go. You see how at the top it kind of differs, because I had it on a low colour, it made it white, when actually we want it to fade. And the colour mixer down below is also it's going up at the moment, so yeah, it's in the right position. Okay, the gradient slider will always stay at 50. Get this. You see, it's hard to make a video with gradients because it has that issue. So for when I do other videos, I won't be doing this on them. I'll just assume that you guys are watching this, and I will link that video at the end of the video. Now this is a red and black, and you're going to keep it at 50. Most of my gradient sliders will stay at 50. But you see how much nicer it is now, so far? With a bubble effect. Okay, now let's start with the actual perk. So with this, it's layer 10, and you got the full circle layer here. Pretty much you got rounded square, full circles, and then the fade in the pattern section. And for these splashes, it's also in a pattern section called paintball. So we're not going to use much of the complex shapes, we're just going to use the basics. So with this full circle, what you want is the opacity to go up to 100. I want it to scale almost to the top and almost to the bottom, but not exactly, so you miss out a little bit of the circle. So I have the X and Y axis scaled up to 5. Now with this, I actually have a gradient on it, and with this is completely white, and then this is 160, which I believe it's like this one over here on the color picker. Yeah. Okay, it's the one below the middle in the color picker, and I want it to go up to 95 on the gradient slider. Now sometimes you gotta actually look at the little information on the right hand side, because sometimes I won't cover all of it. But yeah, with the gradient rotation it's going to be 38. And then, as we all know, we have a main color. So with this, we put our main color in the middle, 100 opacity again, and it's going to be the scale of 2. Now with this, we have one color, and then we should have a little bit of a dark color. So you get a little bit of a gradient. The color gradient rotation will be at 54. And now what we want is the white in the middle. So what we're going to do is make a copy that circle again, because you want to keep the X and Y positioning exactly the same, and have a scale minus 19 on both X and Y axes. Put the opacity all the way up to 100. Now this one is a mid-tone grey. It's not too bright. It's like that kind of colour. And in the middle, we're going to turn it up to the 100 opacity. This one's going to be minus 23 instead of minus 19. And then you get that little ring effect around. Now, just to recap, the text document will be in the description down below. If any of you have any issues, or if I accidentally missed something, I have all the layer information in the description, just so no issues are shown throughout the video. At least there's an alternative if you miss something and I've missed something. Now, in layer 14 you want the rounded square again, and for this is you want 0 X positioning, minus 9 Y positioning, minus 46 X position, scale, and minus 74 Y scale. Now with this is the basic colour. It's the basic red, because that's the example I'm showing. If you want to have a Perk-a-Cola colour, you're going to change most of these reds into that designated colour, or a darkened version of that colour. Now for this, there is no gradient at all. For 13, I think I skipped a little bit, you got a tiny bit of a gradient. Because, yeah, it's just, it's my first tutorial video, so please bear with me. I'm not used to tutorials, especially when gradient is now implemented, because if I have everything on 0, it ruins it a little bit. Anyways, let's continue. With this, you want the pyramid, not a normal triangle, but a pyramid, and what you want is the rotation to be at 180. And this one goes to the bottom of the square there to make the perk base, right? And for these, they're pretty much copied and, you know, shortened to make the inner, and then again in the inner but color, because it has a white outline. Now, if you want any of the positioning and scale, please do pause the video and check on the top right. I can't mention everything perfectly. I'm gonna make mistakes. It's my first video, so that's why I want to do Perk Beta as well, because if I'm making a mistake on an actual video, you guys are gonna hate me. Anyways, for this, for 20 and 21, for text, we're gonna be using letter O. Now what I do is shrink it a little bit, have it at the top, have it at the bottom, and if you want to copy it to make extra more text, you rotate it by 10 and you try and make it close, but with a little bit of a gap in between. That's what I usually do. Okay, so you see it as the basic right now, but after we do with the gradients, it's gonna look a lot better. Now for this gradient, we have it absolutely 0, and then we have the white. So with this, let me just check the opacity that's on this. Alright, 14, you want this color to be on 14 white, and then you got absolutely nothing on this side. In the text document, when it's absolutely nothing, there would not be a color. For example, black is 0, 0, 0 in the mixer, but this is absolutely nothing. And now for the black, what you want is, on this, is you want it to be on opacity 40. Now for the size, this pretty much covers the whole thing. For example, let's get this up to 100, just so you guys can see a little bit, right? It goes around the whole thing. Okay? it covers the whole Perk-a-Cola emblem. So you could copy the layer from before and then add the gradient to it. And that should go the same for this. Now for this, however, we have white, we have black. So let's show what that looks like first. Oh, I pressed the middle on the PlayStation button. Alright, now this is supposed to cover the outer ring of the whole Perk-a-Cola emblem. As you can see here, and what you got with it, got to change is 28 on the gradient rotation. And what you want is 24. You want both of them to be on 2020. So let's put it on to 20 and move on. Alright, now these are on the outskirts of a Perk-a-Cola emblem. And this is the quarter circle tool. Now some of them may not be exactly right angled because it's not big enough to go all the way around it. So for the top right, please check the positioning and scale, as I'm only going to fill up the opacities. And for this one you got 3, and then this one you got, no, this one's 12, and then the other two are 5. Right? And you see how good it is so far? Like the middle is a lot better because the outer rings seem too bland. Anyways, we're on the final layer, and for this one you want the opacity on 30. Now what this actually is let's get it to 100 first so you can actually see it. This is the middle ring now. Just to make it brighter on one side and such, and get the shading in there. And that is how we make the basic Perk-a-Cola emblem beta. This is the middle stone between all the emblems. This is what I've started with and then copied and then made more layers to make the individual emblems. So this is my step, so I hope that most of you will actually take this and use it as your step also. Now you can see how much the shading actually takes effect to the thing. I hope I've explained much as possible in the video. I will have a text document. It tells you all the details, like positioning and X, Y axis, scale, X, Y axis, rotation, opacity, toggle, the color type of solid or gradient, and the colors exactly there, the actual layer emblem and the layer number. It tells you everything there, so if I've skipped out anything, it's on the text document. Okay, so please let me know if I've made any mistakes that you couldn't follow in a video. Quote me on it, like tell me what I've missed out so I don't make any mistakes when I actually show you guys the proper emblems. And if you'd like the text documents for the other emblems as well when I do them, please let me know. This is my first video tutorial on making an emblem, so please, I'm going to make mistakes, I know that, so please just tell me about them. Anyways, hope to see you guys next time when I make all the other emblems. And just to have a quick showcase, we are Double Tap 2.0 now. We also have the original Double Tap. We have Stamina Up. We have Deadshot Decree, or Decree. We had Speed Cola, but speed in the actual name was profanity apparently, so I changed it to Sleight of Hand Soda. You could change it to the previous by adding just I'll let you know in that specific video if you want it to the original when I asked you guys. And this was Quick Revive, but I changed it to Revive Soda to keep with the theme. Stamina Up Soda, Sleight of Hand Soda, Revive Soda, Juggernog Soda. It's a theme that the game has, and I want to have that theme with this. Okay? And then also PhD Flopper. However, in most of the in-game model labels that I can find, it was Flopper PhD. rather than PhD Flopper. PhD Flopper is a perk name, but Flopper PhD in that order is what it will be. Okay, so if you guys dislike this, let me know in the comments down below. It's going to be easy for you guys to change which order you want, and I'm going to let you know in each video how to do that very easily. Anyways, hope to see you guys next time, and I hope you guys start making the Perk Beta. For example, if you look at the middle center, it's all the same proportion. No matter which one you have, it's the same proportion. So please, make this emblem before you make any of my other emblems, okay? Anyways, hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time. If you haven't yet checked out Sidewinder's time trial run and free run, then please check out the annotation now.